following program is intended for mature audiences.
Listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And download every episode and more at basicallyasportshow.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
All right, well, let's get started. It's a tradition like no other, the second annual Bask Us Anything show. We got questions from the Chris Creamer SportsLogos.net forums. We got questions on Facebook for the first time this year, and we got questions from our email account. Everything's on the thread at the board, so if you want to follow along, if you happen to be a CCSLC member, and we're going to pick it up right at the top with a question from Hedley Lamar, which has been a controversial question throughout the entire history of this show, but we'll do it again. What board members would you like to have a beer with?
I will have a beer with Mike.
Woo!
Beer with Greg, or a soda in Greg's case. Andy, the Bass people.
Right.
McCarthy. And I'll have a nice glass of a port or a Bordeaux with Admiral. God knows he doesn't drink beer. And 23 members of the Majestic 12.
Not all 27?
No, just 23.
Okay. They get to choose which four have to sit out.
Yeah. No,
okay.
It's a rotation.
Okay.
There's only so much space. Fire.
Mike?
This, like all these questions, I've only briefly skimmed the thread, so I'm going all these off the top of my head. Again, Greg, Zach, Andy. I would say all 27 members of the Majestic 12, but we already do a fair bit of drinking when we meet in our secret covens to determine the board's future.
True.
So I feel like mentioning them specifically would be a bit redundant. Other than that, McCarthy, definitely. I will disagree with Zach on one point. I do think the Admiral would drink beer, but it would be really obscure IPA crap.
Or Pabst.
Or Pabst. That was my other answer, too.
Or Pabst. Goth Mike, definitely.
Oh, I forgot about him. He's a good one.
He would just be a fun person to just sit down and drink with. And honestly, this might surprise a few people, but Hedley Lamar. Again, like Gothamite, completely different from Gothamite. I think they'd both be fun to have a drink with in completely different ways. There's Black Bolt, definitely. He and I are the co-founders of the Chargers Panthers playoff alliance for a better tomorrow. So definitely him. And again, just like the last time, guys, there's so many people on the board, so many people I have.
Yeah.
There's
plenty.
There's plenty of people, but just off the top of my head, and Kramericka.
Kramericka's another good one. I would put him in there too. Yeah, I agree.
The only reason I even included anybody outside of our circle is because McCarthy did co-host the show once.
Right.
He gets to be in the circle, and God, every time he posts something, we're very much in the same age group, like as you, me, and Mike, and just like he like when he types, it feels like I almost read like a Cincinnati version of myself.
McCarthy does a great job also of representing the state of Ohio.
Because
he does a great job.
Knows you guys need all the help.
We need all the help we can get. You got that right.
And just to finish off my list, all my fellow mods and admins on the boards, you're all great guys. Definitely everyone on the admin and mod side of things. So.
I will preface mine by saying, like you guys, I could probably list 150 people if you gave me the time to do it. Mm-hmm. We started recording this show at 8 o'clock. At 7:45, I sat down with that question. I said, the first 10 names that pop into my head, that's who it's going to be, and that's going to be it. So here they are. LMU, Atomic, McCarthy.
Yeah.
You can tell just how much respect McCarthy has on the boards that we all three named him. Mm-hmm. DG Now.
Okay.
Brandmore Art.
Okay. All right.
Old School Vikings.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
On Wiz 97.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Wild Wing 64 and Marble 21. And Bring Back the Vet. And that was it. I hit 10. I said, okay, that's it. But, yeah, I hit 10. And then of course, names like Hedley popped up into my head. A guy that really rarely ever posts anymore, but just one of my favorite posters we ever had would be Buck. Was another guy that popped into my head, but he's not around anymore.
Headley's only allowed to come if he brings all the girls that he's just having sex with all the time, so he can share.
So basically, by himself, in other words.
Oh.
Oh no! Oh no!
Buck, definitely. I'd love to have a drink of Buck, mostly just to listen to his story.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to listen to him. He can talk about whatever the hell he wants.
Now, I've interacted with him quite a bit on Facebook, so I still talk to him here and there. Not as much as I used to, but he's kind of just disappeared from the boards. I mean, I saw a post from him a few months back, and I went, wow, you just don't see him around. Another guy,
what? He's probably better off for it. He's probably smarter than any of us.
Probably. but that's like I said, after I got to 10, then, of course, a bunch more popped into my head. If your name wasn't included, I apologize in advance. I just didn't think of you in the first 10. Doesn't mean I don't think you're one of the top 10 or whatever. It's just those are the first 10 names that popped into my head, and that's the way it goes.
Because you mentioned Buck, when we had that call-in show way back when,
right?
Still, one of the highlights of doing the show was having Buck call in.
Definitely.
You know what I always loved about Buck, and I think I hope he takes this the right way, because God knows I mean it with nothing but love in my heart. But I loved how he could go thesaurus for thesaurus with the Admiral 1 minute and sound like Snoop Dogg the next, and that just fucking killed me. I'm like, this dude is brilliant. I just loved that about him.
Good people.
I mean, it was like he could look like he could make the Admiral with his fucking thesaurus and all of his other bullshit look like a moron, and I just love that about him. But anyway, so there you go. Hopefully, we didn't offend anybody. If we did, well, those are the breaks, and what are you going to do?
If we did, screw you.
Screw you, right?
If we honestly offend anyone, I don't want to drink a beer with a person that's
right, exactly
offended by it. Like, get over it.
Let's see, what's next?
Oh, we have an F, Marry, Kill.
Oh boy, I hate these, but I guess we should do it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, first one in the list is to probably more directed to you two, you Star Trek folks,
right?
With your new movies and your new TV shows.
The new movie's good, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Save it for next week. We're going to need material next week.
So Captain Kirk, Captain Picard, and Cisco.
Wow.
Oh, okay. This is easy.
Go ahead. You've got it straightened out. Go ahead, take it.
Fuck Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Marry Cisco. Kill Picard.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. See, in my limited knowledge, I went F Kirk, marry Picard, and kill Cisco because I don't know who Cisco is.
Okay.
Oh, Cisco's awesome.
I'm killing Kirk. All right.
Oh, no, boo!
Let's see. For the F, I'm going to go with, I guess, Cisco, just because he just seems like he's younger. I don't know. And I'll marry Picard because, the accent thing would be kind of cool to listen to every day.
See, the thing, being married to Picard would be so, you think it'd be good, but it would get really dull really quick.
Yeah, but, I think Picard might be okay with an open marriage, too, so I'm looking at it from that angle.
Next on the trios, Skip Bayless, Colin Cowherd, Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, my God. Can we just kill all of them and be done with it?
I'd kill Stephen A. Smith, easy. He's
really?
the first. We went 3 solid weeks.
Yeah.
Where it was just him saying, it wasn't even a planned segment. It's just 3 weeks in a row he said something asinine. I mean, him and Skip Bayless. I mean, it's a toss-up.
I think I'd kill Bayless.
No, I'd kill Smith. It's not an easy choice, but I would kill Smith.
And then what about the
Yeah, you got to do the other two guys. No pun intended.
Marry Cowherd.
Yeah.
Fuck
Skip
Bayless.
Jesus.
All right.
I know it's a dark place when that's what we've come down to, but there we are.
Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna. God, this is a brutal choice. F. Bayless, kill Cowherd, marry Stephen A. Smith, and I'm not happy with any of those choices.
I kill Bayless, F. Stephen A. and then marry Cowherd. Cowherd can,
We'd never come over to your house if you married Colin Cowherd. Just want to tell you that right now.
I don't get him.
And the final one, Mel Kiper's Bouffant, Barry Melrose's mullet, or John Clayton's whatever the hell that is.
Kill Kiper, F. Melrose, and marry John Clayton's hair. Yeah.
You know, Burgundy. This is really like just some brutal stuff you're putting us through here, dude. I just got to say.
I'm gonna have to echo Zach on that one, and like with the last one, I'm not happy about any of those choices.
Like, I was debating whether or not I
well,
wanted.
maybe I'm happy about the kill. I'm happy. I'd like to kill. I'm happy I get to kill at least one of them.
Yeah.
So.
I would argue that Clayton's whatever the hell it is dead already. Right. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's just a head of hair with
such
bald.
as it is. Yeah. In a manner of speaking, as they say. Is it my turn? Let's see here. I got to kill Clayton just because I'm sorry. I can't look at that every day, and I ain't about to have sex with it. Okay. I'm going to marry Melrose just because he's a hockey fan, and I guess me and Mel Kiper are going to spend a little time together. So there you go. That's my answer to that. Ooh, that's a tough one.
Melrose's mullet's beautiful. How dare you? Let's see what's next on our list here. Back to our friend Headley. This is a topic that's been raging in conversation over the last year in many facets of the internet. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Because it is a thing, a piece of meat, something of substance put between pieces of bread. But hot dog, sandwich.
I'm going to say no, it's not. But I'm going to throw a qualifier on there. If you are a hillbilly like I am, at some point in your life, you have split a hot dog long ways down the middle and put it between two slices of bread, making it a sandwich. So it is, but it isn't. Technically, no, but it can be a sandwich. That's my answer.
I'm going to be emphatic and say no. Because you can eat a hot dog inside a bun or outside a bun, and it's still a hot dog. Okay. Like, you can have, like, a piece of chicken breast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can eat a piece of chicken breast when it's not a sandwich, and it's just a chicken breast. It's a meal. You're at a restaurant, you order, I'll have the chicken breast, right?
Right.
But you can also put a chicken breast in between two buns, two buns. And at that point, the fundamental nature of the meal is changed. You're no longer just ordering the chicken breast. You're ordering the chicken sandwich, which has a completely different connotation. But with a hot dog, you can have a hot dog in a bun, or you can have a hot dog out of a bun, and it's fundamentally still a hot dog. Therefore, it's not a sandwich.
I got to agree with every word of that. That is about the best I've ever heard it described. So I'm going to go with Mike.
And that's 3 shots of Kraken in, by the way. So
a hot dog's a hot dog. I think when it comes to a sandwich, like, yes, technically speaking, by the letter definition of what a sandwich is, but here's my problem. When you put a hot dog in a bun isn't 2 different pieces of bread.
No.
It's 1 piece of bread with a slit in it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, sometimes the buns do come apart and it becomes 2 separate buns, but then the whole construction of the thing is messed up to begin with. A hot dog on its own is put into a bread, a small loaf of bread with a hole in the middle.
Okay, here, I'm going to settle this. I think this is the easiest way to settle this, okay? Let's say that I call you, Zach, and I say, what are you doing? And on the one day, you're eating a hot dog on a plate. And then I call you 3 days later, I say, what are you doing? And you say, I'm eating a hot dog, and this time it's on a bun. Do you answer me differently in either call? Or are you eating a hot dog both times? Like, if it's on a plate, you're saying I'm eating a hot dog. If it's on a bun, you're still saying I'm eating a hot dog, right?
I think if it was on a plate, I would.
Would you specify that?
Specify, but when it's in a bun, I wouldn't.
Well, I don't know then.
And that's the other thing. A bun, it's a bun, not pieces of bread. It's a bun.
So I think the consensus is then that we all agree it's not a sandwich, even though by the most technical terms it probably is, but we don't think that it is. We think it's not.
No, we're Americans.
Right.
Well, except Mike will be.
Mike will be an American like in less than a week, so he's going to be. We're going to throw him in there too. This next one, Mike, I'm going to give to you because I have no idea what he's talking about. Sandpiper or curlew? This is from Marble 21, one of our British listeners. So, do you have any idea what he's talking about?
Do you know what that is?
I actually, for the life of me, they're birds.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, sandpiper. Then I see sandpipers every day. Yeah, they're funny as shit.
Well, you know what? As I Googled it, there is a curlew sandpiper.
Oh, great. Now we're back to the hot dog and sandwich thing again.
It breeds on the Arctic tundra of Siberia.
Oh, well, sandpipers hang out on the beach in Florida.
Well, yeah, but let's see, is there just a curlew?
I'm going to go with the curlew sandpiper.
Or is he asking, wait a minute, maybe he's asking us, is it called a sandpiper or is it called a curlew?
Well, there are there are three different birds that we're talking about here.
Okay.
There is a curlew, there is a sandpiper, and then there is a curlew sandpiper.
This is like, we're getting into Battlestar Galactica territory here. You got the humans, the Cylons, and then Hera, which is kind of
All right,
both.
so I'm going to give you some photo
All right.
some photo evidence.
Well, anyway, while we're talking about it, here in Florida, you have the taller sandpipers, and then there's these little ones. And the funny thing about the little ones is that they run out with the waves, as the waves wash in and out. They run out on the dry land, and then as the waves come back in, they run away from it. And you will sit there and watch them for hours thinking that the water's going to catch them, and it never does. It's hysterical.
If you've seen Finding Dory, that's the bird that's featured in the little video short that's before the movie, like Pixar does.
Okay.
So that is a curlew.
All right.
This is...
I'm already choosing sandpiper because I think it looks cooler than this bird does. I just assumed when he said sandpiper or curlew, I thought he was like making an inside, UK thing to just Mike. Those are the ones we have in Florida. They're the second one.
Yeah, that's the sandpiper.
Right. If it is, I have to say I am embarrassed to know that that nothing is popping to mind.
No, it's birds. It's birds.
If it's just birds, then I'm gonna have to say the curlew sandpiper because I believe in bringing people together.
The bottom, this third thing is the curlew sandpiper.
Okay, well that was pretty cool too. It looks like it's got a little robin going on in it there too, maybe just a tad. In either case, I'm either going with the sandpiper or the curlew sandpiper. I don't like the curlew on its own. I'm not a big bird fan.
Sure, sandpiper, because I liked that little video short. It was cute.
Right, and just watching them run back and forth between the waters is a really cool thing to do. From LMU on the boards, could Mike make it as a goalie in the San Jose Sharks Adult Rec League?
Ooh, okay. You know what? That's going to be tough because it's
high standards.
Very high standards. I mean, this is the best rec league. I mean, they like to say it's the best adult rec league in the United States, but I've got to think though that they're being humble, and it's really the best adult rec league in North America because how can it not be?
Oh.
I'm gonna go completely in the opposite direction. I think you're the Vezina Trophy winner in that fucking league. You are like the Dominic Hasek of the adult rec league, Sharks Adult Rec League.
You know what? You know what? That's going to be my. I thought I had given up on higher aspirations for hockey. In like grade 9 of high school, but in retrospect, now that I have this new goal to aim for, you know what? It's going to be my passion.
Well, when you become, when you lead your team to the top spot in the Tampa Bay Lightning Rec League, and you play the San Jose Sharks Rec League for the Rec League Stanley Cup,
I'll be there. I'll be buying tickets for that.
Yeah, take that, Canada. Sunbelt Rec League Stanley Cup final, San Jose versus Tampa.
Bay.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Ugly Bus says, if you had to make a super trendy uniform when you were a kid, what would it look like? Ooh.
Oh, okay. I actually...
No, let me stop. Let me interrupt for a second. When he says super trendy, he means based on the trends at the time you were a kid?
Okay, yeah, because that's how I was going to answer it.
That means okay, all right.
Because I discovered the CC SLC when I want to say I was 15 or 16. It's been a while, but back then, some of my first concepts were actually not hockey concepts; they were football concepts, and I remember doing Jets and Lions concepts in particular that were like they were super in line with what the Broncos and what the Falcons were doing, right? So, like, the Lions one in particular had, like, a blue body, but it had, like, silver Broncos-esque side panels, but the shoulders were black, and it had the Lion logo on the sleeves. And yeah, so that is that. You know, I actually do have some experience with that. Back when I was a teenager, some of my first concepts were very much in line with what was popular in the NFL in the late '90s, early 2000s, because that's sort of that was when I was a kid. So
yes,
and I know that seems strange because like we have users who are teenagers now who are like saying, "Oh yeah, I was born like 1 month after September 11th." And I'm like, "Who are you?" Like that's so strange.
Kids design things with Volt in them, and you
exactly right.
Anthracite.
Well, how do you guys think I feel? I'm the third oldest member of the entire community. I'm not the oldest, believe it or not. I'm the third oldest, but still.
Oh yeah.
Like for me, if you want to talk about when I was a kid, you're talking about when the pullover polyester jerseys first started in baseball.
Ooh, yeah.
So
the Angels wore their throwbacks last weekend and gorgeous.
Yeah, they were, except they got the fonts wrong for the whatever. But like for me, it would be something along the lines of, and this is something else you got to consider too. You had the pullover jerseys with the polyester, the big like no belt or the big whatever they called it. I can't remember.
Sansa belt.
Yeah, the Sansa belt and all that. And denim was really huge at the time.
Oh,
so here's the thing.
Oh, Jesus.
We would sit and talk because we would like watch A's games or the Pirates or what. Maybe not the Pirates so much because they weren't really that crazy up until maybe right about then. I don't remember exactly, but we'd be like, how cool would it be if you had like an A's jersey, like the yellow one, and then your pants, like the baseball pants, looked like blue jeans. That's what we were thinking back then. So you can give you an idea of the atrocity that would have been. So that's what we would have come up with. It would have been something with a pullover jersey in some wild color, and probably, I won't say denim for sure, but the pants would have been dark, like the Pirates were with the black pants.
Yeah.
That's what we would have come up with.
Now, slight veer off before we continue. Speaking, because this actually ties into the last question about me playing goalie. I actually once played a game in net wearing jeans.
Well, there you go. You would have fit right in the 70s.
I was wearing jeans underneath my goalie pads. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. I'm trying to remember the circumstances that led to that, but that is the worst game. I can't even remember how I did in that game. I just know it was fucking terrible.
Let's see. As a '90s kid, for sure it would include some form of eggplant or purple and teal. Teal would have to be included.
Oh, of course.
Probably majority black with, honestly, and this is going to sound silly. When I was a kid, I loved the Sharks jerseys. Specifically, the ones I like, the inaugural ones were great, but I love the ones when they switched like the Nike jerseys with the quote unquote shark fin arm striping.
The Bronco arms.
Yeah,
the Bronco armpits.
Honestly, if I was designing a jersey as a kid, it would probably end up looking something like that, where it's black and teal and it's got some weird striping and yeah. Because I mean, as a kid, I loved those. I loved when the Broncos had those new jerseys. I mean, those were some of my favorites when I was growing up. I mean, beyond any of the Duck stuff, and God forbid, I liked anything that the Angels put out in the '90s.
Oh well, that was
that was the Periwinkle era, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we were competing with the Houston Rockets for the train conductor look.
Yeah, with us it would have been some sort of pullover polyester thing. We love
that's a great idea. The blue jeans, that's
what I mean. Denim was huge, man. People were putting out 3-piece suits that were all denim, and I was too young, but like older guys were buying.
You call that a Canadian tuxedo?
Well, there you go. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But I just want to ask, now that we've all heard what our super trendy uniforms would be, would any of us like any of our uniforms today?
No.
Okay.
I think something else that I remember thinking about when I was a kid was I always wanted to know, like, it's always so hot in baseball. They played in the middle of summer. Why are they wearing pants? Why don't they wear shorts? I didn't know about the White Sox thing at the time. And I was like, why would they wear pants? It's always so hot.
I think they only
And
wore
then-
those White Sox uniforms twice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like, you see them, it's like, oh, shorts, that makes sense. And then once you think about it in practice, no, it doesn't make sense at all. But
When I played softball, there were guys that would wear shorts and slide into second base, and it was just like, what are you thinking? They'd get up and their knees would just be torn all to hell. Okay, are we done? We want to move on?
Who's sliding in softball, by the way?
Oh, dude, believe me, when you're in your mid-20s and you're playing softball, it's like...
I played softball in my mid-20s. I didn't even slide.
Not like,
you played
not like-
softball, but you haven't played
Right.
softball.
We played softball. I mean...
See, I was.
You got to remember, Mike, we had a team of 14 frustrated baseball players. So
Yeah,
it wasn't
no.
just like something for fun to us, man. I
played.
Obviously, you've never met softball guy, have you?
Yeah, softball guy.
No,
The guy
no.
that comes in with, the expensive bat, the expensive glove. He has one of those arm sleeves, wristbands.
Okay, now I just want to. Okay,
I just want to say the softball team that I played on, that I played most of my 20s softball in. And my 20s are quickly coming to the end. I just turned 29 a couple days ago, actually.
well, happy birthday.
I know, right? It's terrifying, but
Oh, it's nothing. It's just going to get better from here. Trust me.
but my 20s softball days, I played on the history department team at University of Western Ontario. We
Well,
played
of course
against.
you guys didn't slide.
No. I'm like, we were all just awkward because it's like we're outside in the sun. I don't smell book dust. We're scared.
Right, and then somebody would get a base hit, and you would debate if like that would have been the way they would have done it in 1878 or whatever. Come on. I played. I was not quite softball guy, but I played with softball guy. I had now my cleats were $20. They didn't cost a lot of money. I did wear wristbands, and I wore one batting glove under my glove because I played first base. And we had uniforms. I actually designed our uniforms the last 3 years that we played. But yeah, you like played recreational softball, Mike. I'm talking like we played, for blood softball. Like shit was important to us.
We were in it. We were in a league. It just yeah.
Like my team won 3 championships in 4 years, and we were still talking about it just 3 days ago on Facebook. So,
No, we never once made the playoffs, and we always consistently got our asses kicked by the kinesiology department.
Well, that would
It
make
wasn't
sense.
pretty.
Yeah.
let's pause here because I want to try to cut this up so that it's not one long droning thing, and we'll get back to a very interesting question from Harmony. All right, moving along. This one comes from Harmony, and this is it's your classic philosophical question. If God created everything, who created him?
I'm going to get spiritual and philosophical here. In my estimation, in my belief, concepts, we talk about God in concepts that we can understand, but in reality, we can't comprehend God's true nature because he is so far beyond us that the best we can do is use human concepts that approximate what his role is. And so I think the same thing holds true here. I don't think that we are honestly able to comprehend whatever truth there might be to that question.
Zach?
Scott Baio.
Okay, I'm going to – to me, this is your classic from a former philosophy student. It's the classic prime mover, first cause, whatever you want to call it, conundrum, I guess. And it's a question that's all but impossible to answer. You have to either accept that literally nothing existed before the Big Bang, which still creates the what was there before that question, or that God has always existed, or you end up playing the mirror game where there's always a prime mover that precedes the prime mover that precedes the prime mover right on down the line. Long story short, it's a question that can't be answered. I like his thinking, but there's no way to answer it, really, to anybody's satisfaction. That's the way I see it.
The real answer, though, of course, is Arceus, the Pokemon god.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on the subject, why don't one of you two take the next question from NYK33?
The question, of course, is which starter Pokemon from the original games?
Oh, that's easy.
Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur. Which would you pick? And for me, there's always been only one right answer. I've liked one a little bit, enough, but not as much as this one. And if you choose the third option, you're just an idiot. No one chooses this. Top option always Charmander, number one with a bullet.
Oh, that's easy. I'm going to have to echo sentiments of my colleague. It is Charmander. I would argue
because you get a dragon eventually out of him.
Exactly.
Secondly, I always like Squirtle because you eventually get a turtle with cannons coming out of its back.
Oh, you gotta like that. That's GOT territory there. GTOV territory there.
Yeah, and then if you choose Bulbasaur, you're just choosing a life of failure and mediocrity.
Exactly. And here's my problem with Bulbasaur. Here's my problem with Bulbasaur and the people who choose Bulbasaur. Okay. Is that in the original game, the first gym was a rock-type gym, and the second gym was a water-type gym. So if you choose Bulbasaur, you're basically just playing on easy mode. All right? Charmander had a disadvantage against both the first two gyms. If you played with Charmander, that game forged you into a man.
You know what's funny about all this is that you guys could be saying this in Russian, and I wouldn't understand it any less than I already do.
Well, do you want me to give you some pictures and explain to you what these things are?
No, that's okay. I'm just going to say that Charmander sounds good to me, and we can move on to the next question.
Hey, he's a lizard with fire on his tail.
He later turns into a giant dragon.
Cool.
Yeah, with wings.
Next question from Mike K33. Would you rather attend a brony convention or a gathering of the Juggalos? Now, for those of you that don't know, Juggalos are fans of the Insane Clown Posse. And my understanding is that they are not a typical family picnic to go to one of their gatherings. So
okay, this is
that being said, I would still choose the Juggalos.
Here's the thing. My gut reaction is to say Juggalos, but every time I think about it, I get uneasy about that choice, and has nothing to do with the bronies. The bronies are absolutely abhorrent, but it's just that the Juggalos are that bad that it makes it not an easy question to answer.
My answer is simple. I'm going to the brony convention because I figure I can kick some bronies' ass. Juggalos, I'm going to get killed. As simple as that.
There is that. You could probably dominate a crowd of bronies easier. But at the same time, I think one of the advantages to going to the Juggalo convention is that you could legitimately win them over with, the sorcery known as magnets.
Magnets, how do they work?
So I have to think that, this is kind of like some of those F, marry, kill questions like, I'm going to say Juggalos, but I'm not happy about having to say that.
I'm going to say brony, and mostly because I just think I would fear for my safety less with the bronies. Well,
Greg, this year's gathering of the Juggalos, Thornville, Ohio.
Where?
Thornville.
I have no idea where that is.
It looks like it's in the dead center of the state, Perry County.
I think I'm familiar with Perry County, but I don't know where Thornville is. It's probably a good place to have it out in the middle of nowhere where no one's going to be around.
Where society can't be bothered.
Right.
Society, yeah.
What counties surround it? I don't know. Anyway, it's in the dead middle of the state.
Okay.
It's included in the Columbus Metropolitan Statistical Area.
Okay.
So,
favorite wrestling theme song? I guess this is probably going to be more along the lines of Mike or myself, right?
I have an answer.
Okay, well, go ahead.
It's got to be Real American for Hulk.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right?
That's a good one. That's a good one. There's a lot of choices. I do like. I'm going to say honorable mention actually goes to one that was never used. It was Saliva's unused theme for Chris Jericho. Break the Walls Down by Saliva. Jericho never used it, or if he did, he used it like once. But I've always liked it as a song, not just as a theme, but I just think it's a really good song. But if we're going to go with themes that were actually used, again, a lot of good choices, but you know what? My ultimate choice isn't going to surprise anyone who knows me. It's Goldberg's theme. I still get chills if I'm watching old WCW stuff and that theme hits, that gives me chills. So I've got to go with Goldberg.
Mine's simple. I'm going with The Undertaker.
That's another good one.
I like the Johnny Cash tune that he uses now. It's okay. I don't think it's a great entrance song, but it works for his particular bit. There was one that he used, and I couldn't tell you the name of the song or who played it for the life of me. It might have been going on during his American Badass period. That was a really cool tune.
I know exactly who did his song during the American Badass period.
Okay, who was it?
It's Limp Bizkit.
Okay.
It was terrible. Like everything else Limp Bizkit has done, it was terrible.
Maybe that's not the one I'm thinking of then. There was one song that I liked. It was kind of a more rock song, but to me, The Undertaker, and I like the Cash tune. I don't think that it doesn't really give you the let's go feeling, but I just think it works for The Undertaker.
Well, The Undertaker's classic theme is awesome because you pair that theme with the dimming of the lights, they bring in the fog, and it's like when it comes. And that's another thing, because the Goldberg theme would always be accompanied by smoke and fireworks. So, these themes in conjunction with just the way that they prepare the entrances, it really sets the right mood for a lot of these characters.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Right.
Next up, favorite minor league baseball identity from Cosmic. I know Greg's answer right off the top.
Montgomery Biscuits.
Exactly.
Yeah. Love it.
I love the Biscuits too, but just to have some variety, I actually, I don't know why, but it's kind of silly, the logo. But I like the Lake Elsinore Storm out here. It's just the eyes on the cap.
I like that one too. Yeah.
Because it has nothing to do with a storm. It's just kind of angry eyes, but
yeah.
it's different, and it's one of those things that gives you a very different hat. Or if we can narrow it down to like a one-day thing, because technically they change their name when they do this. Fresno Tacos.
Yeah. I just real quick. I think that coming from the boards, I understand it for people that aren't on the boards with us, but boards people asking us uniform questions, I think is really unfair, because to ask uniform dorks like us to narrow it down to one particular thing is all but impossible for us to do. I mean, the Biscuits. If I had to pick a favorite, I'm going with the Biscuits. I like the Chattanooga Lookouts because of the hat. The Lansing Lugnuts are really cool. The Las Vegas 51s I like a lot. The St. Elsinore Storm I like a lot. There's just a bunch. But Mike, do you have one?
I have narrowed it down to two.
See what I mean?
The first one, and I can never remember the city name, but it's the Bulls, the Rays minor league affiliate.
Oh, Durham Bulls.
Durham Bulls. That's it. Durham Bulls.
Durham.
Okay, there you go.
Like the movie.
Right.
Yeah. Durham Bulls, I've always loved. I love minor league baseball because they get really wacky identities. I think the Montgomery Biscuits is absolutely fantastic. But at the same time, I love how the Durham Bulls, at the end of the day, have a very simple identity that could easily work in the majors. Right. So, and I think, and again, I love a lot of the wacky stuff minor league baseball does, but I think the Bulls look really does stand out just because of how professional it is. And another one I like, this is actually going to be nearby to where I'm moving to, the Clearwater Thrashers.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I've liked that one. I just really like the color balance. I mean, it's red, white, and blue, right, which is pretty common, but I think they use everything in just the right amount that it just kind of all comes together for
Don't they have like a Columbia / light blue that's a big part of their color scheme too, the Thrashers?
Yeah, it's like it's like navy blue, Columbia blue, red, and they've got a bit of cream in there, I think. It's all just really nice. And
well, I will tell you this, so I don't know if you've been there yet, but they play – well, the Phillies train there at spring training, but the stadium they play in, one of the finest facilities you'll ever go to. It's in Clearwater. You'll love it. Great park.
I last time I was in Tampa when I was finalizing a lot of stuff for my job down there, I actually did drive by it, and I didn't go in, but I'm actually looking forward to catching some games down there because it does look like a really nice stadium. And hey, minor league baseball is always a good time.
Right.
I think one thing we could agree with all minor league baseball too: no grandiose identities.
Yeah.
Is the Threshers? Is that grandiose? If it
might
is,
be. I don't know, but
if it is, it's so unlike anything else that they've done.
I think that with Brandiose, they've done a couple, but the thing that happened with them is they let their success go to their heads. Where now they're basically it's a comic book universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when it's so obvious that it's a Brandiose design, I think you've lost sight of your goal. Where the first thing you think of isn't like, hey, that's a great identity for the team. You think, oh, there's Brandiose again. That's not really the way you want the stuff to work, in my opinion.
If the Durham Bulls ever get a Brandiose redesign, I will just give up on minor league baseball out of anger.
I think you're safe there.
Okay. Let's see here. What's next? Oh.
Habspan1 asks, what's your favorite TV show of the year so far?
Oh, that's going to be tough because Game of Thrones season 6 has been easily the best season of the show, I think. So I'm going to go with that.
If we're going continuing shows, definitely Game of Thrones. It'll win every year for me. I'm trying to think of like any shows that debut this year that
I can think of two. I can think of two that I think that debuted this year, and they're both actually Netflix shows.
Okay.
One of them is the Netflix animated show Voltron, the Legendary Defender, which is
I haven't gotten around to that. Is it really good?
It is really good. The best way to describe it is a lot of people with like nostalgia goggles like to remember that the old Voltron cartoon was good, but then you go back and watch it and it's like, this is kind of not good. This show is as good as you remember old Voltron being. It is really well done. Another one, which I actually only started watching because I was absolutely bored and had literally nothing else to do, and my Netflix was turned on, so I just watched this because it was there, but it turned out to be really good, is Scream, which is basically what they did. Its second season is just starting, but what they did was they took the plot to the 90s slasher movie Scream, and they turned that movie into the plot of a TV series.
Okay.
And it's like you don't think it would be that good, and there are some cringeworthy moments it's like, oh, it's Scream, but in 2016, so instead of getting calls, it's text messages, and instead of like a news reporter, she has a podcast kind of thing. So the pained updates are a bit apparent, but ultimately, it's actually really good. So I would definitely recommend it. If you're into slasher films and if you're into horror, definitely give Scream a chance. So those are my answers.
I don't watch much current television. So my favorite show is probably something that came out 4 years ago and is just now finding its way to Netflix or Hulu. I liked kind of Orange is the New Black, the latest season of that. I'm not crazy about it. What else? I'm like right now I'm rewatching Battlestar Galactica to give you an idea. So I like, this is probably not a popular choice amongst our crowd, but I thought The People versus O.J. Simpson was very well done. I enjoyed it. I don't know. It's historical accuracy and all that.
I still have to get around to watching that.
I thought that was pretty good, but to ask me what my favorite TV shows of this year are, I would answer something like, hey, has anybody seen that new show called Battlestar Galactica that came out in 2005 or 4 or whatever it was? So not a good question for me, but I tried.
Yeah. And for my nerdy answer, Dragon Ball Super. It's finally picked up really nicely, and I'm happy with it.
Oh, that's another good one.
Yeah.
From Stats Brett, favorite stadium?
Just stadium, or are we talking stadiums and arenas?
I'm saying anything that you want to throw in there, whatever it is. Okay.
Favorite hockey arena I've been to is Montreal. It just, it's the sheer size of it, the amount of people that they stuff in there, and the atmosphere is unmatched in any arena in almost all of professional sports, really. Mm-hmm. So I gotta say that. Mm-hmm. Baseball, I liked the old Yankee Stadium, but that's obviously not there anymore. Wrigley's fine; it's just old. I haven't seen it since the updates. No, I can't think. Well, a Dodger Stadium is probably my favorite baseball stadium, actually. And football, man, I don't know. Football stadiums are also generic now,
Yeah,
you know?
they're kind of all the same is what I was thinking. Mike, what about you?
In terms of hockey, I haven't actually seen a Canadians game at the Bell Center. I've only taken the tour of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still going to say that for a lot of the same reasons Zach said. Like, you just go through that stadium, and the history of the Canadians is just so revered and on display there that you can't help but just appreciate the game of hockey.
Yeah.
The Air Canada Centre, when I finally got to go to a Leafs game there a few years back, I mean, it was fine, but it was very modern, I guess is the best way to put it. And it's like, this is the Leafs are one of those teams who could probably get away with like a hockey version of Camden Yards, right? So, but instead it's this basketball stadium that they convert into a hockey arena, and it's very commercial. And you know what? It was a fine stadium. Nothing wrong with the ACC. I was underwhelmed a bit. But in terms of baseball, and this is probably my favorite stadium of all time, the Rogers Center, or as it should properly be known, the Sky Dome.
I thought you were for sure going to go with Tropicana Field in Tampa or in St. Petersburg.
I mean, the Sky Dome, I love that place. I've been to Jays games there almost my whole life. It's
a great place. I've been there. It's awesome.
It's a great place. It's a bit stark these days in comparison to newer offerings, but every time I go there, I have a great time. It's still a great atmosphere. Everything is more than serviceable. I love the Sky Dome, and it's always going to have a special place in my heart. So,
let's see. For me, hockey got to be Madison Square Garden. Mm-hmm. For the history and all that. But if you're talking amenities and everything, Nationwide's really nice. Baseball, overall, favorite stadium period, Huntington Park in Columbus, Ohio. Best park I've ever been to. In the majors, Camden Yards is by far away the winner in that one. What were the other ones we were talking about? Football? Yeah. I've only been to two NFL games, or two places for NFL games, Old Cleveland Stadium and the Silver Dome, which no longer exists. So,
have you gone to a game at the Horseshoe?
No, never been to one, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never been to one.
Yeah, I mean, I think college stadiums are infinitely more interesting than NFL stadiums.
Definitely. There's a lot of college stadiums I'd love to go to. The Horseshoe being, of course, at the top of the list, but Michigan, Notre Dame.
Yeah, I've only seen college games on campus at SC in the Coliseum and at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe. But, the couple times that I've visited the Rose Bowl and just been outside of it, I got to imagine that there's no better place to see a football game than the Rose Bowl.
I would love to see a game at the Rose Bowl. In terms of stadiums I haven't been to but want to see a game at, that's definitely up near the list, just because even before I even started following college football in the States, I knew that the Rose Bowl, was a big deal. And so I'd like to go to a game there.
Yeah, me too. Rose, there's a lot of them in college football I'd love to go to. I'd love to go to a game in Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Clemson. Just the list goes on and on.
I would definitely love to make it to a game at Auburn. So.
Yeah. Let's see. What's next? Favorite stadium? Headley Lamar asks, if the moon were made out of barbecue spare ribs, would you eat the moon? No.
No, we need the moon for gravity and tides and stuff. We need it up there still.
Right.
I'm not particularly fond of spare ribs, so no.
Well, I mean, they'd probably be delicious, but,
Okay, what I want to do here, because we're running up on the 30-minute mark for this segment, I'm going to save Andy's question for the next segment, and we'll get these other two in because they're easier to answer quickly. Mm-hmm. So, from Cosmic again, which country would you threaten to move to when President Trump is elected? No Canada or Mexico, because Trump is totally going to annex them.
Ireland or the UK, simply because I can speak the language and I like it there. But to add a different one in, Sweden, because they seem like fine folk and they like hockey, so I can live there.
Mike? I don't know if this even applies to you, really, does it?
I mean, I mean,
You're still going to have to live here.
They're going to have to live in the U.S. if Trump's elected. So, and I can't move back to Canada.
The 51st state, Canada.
I can't move back to Canada. UK or Ireland for the reasons Zach said, and also my love of British history and culture. That definitely makes it a prime choice. Other than that, Sweden's good. I'd also throw in Denmark, Norway, or Switzerland.
Okay. My options, for me, my first choice would be Australia.
Oh, Australia's obviously.
And if I can't make it all the way to Australia, my second choice for the country I would move to after Trump is elected, probably Kentucky.
Well, on the bright side, I don't think very many of the nukes will be falling on Kentucky.
No, Australia uses dollars and they play baseball. Good enough for me. Okay, and from Mr. NASCAR 13, longtime listener of the show, truth or dare?
Dare. Yeah, fine. Dare me, Mr. NASCAR.
This is always a conundrum. I'm going to go with... I'd go with truth.
I'm with Mike. I'm going with truth because that usually means that somehow I'll end up getting to talk about myself, so I'm taking truth. We will pause there and come back and pick up with a pretty interesting question from Andy, so stick around.